The very first question I ask customers when I'm on a call with them to discuss their business and content strategy is, who is your target audience? The reason for that is because the customer always comes first. They are the people who read your content, and hopefully after doing so, they will buy your product and services. Now, the answer I get to my question depends on who I'm talking to. Not everyone has the same level of experience. One client I spoke to said, I target startups. What? Any startups? Of course not. Other businesses I speak to will have collected a lot of data on their existing customers, and they will have done market research up front, so they're able to give me a much clearer picture of who exactly they're targeting, and I'm, as a content writer, then able to adapt. So for those who don't know, in this video I'm going to do a quick run through of what a target audience is, why it's important to understand, and how you can find the target audience for your business. A target audience, as you may have guessed from the term itself, is the audience you're trying to target with your marketing efforts. In other words, it's the people you want to sell your product or services to. Now, you might be tempted to say, I just want to sell to everyone. And that's nice. But you won't sell to everyone. In fact, you won't sell to most people, and that's okay. You don't need to sell to everyone in order to build a flourishing business. In fact, the number of customers you actually need to make a good amount of money is often surprisingly very low. What you do need to do is target the right people. The right people will love your business. They will read all your content, they'll buy all your products, and they will tell their friends and family all about who you are and what you do, and then bring in more customers to your business. If you manage to properly nail your target audience, well and good, and you'll have a team of brand advocates who will do their best to spread the word about your business, and that's the best marketing you could ever wish for. Regardless of whether or not you're just starting out or you've already launched your business, you probably have a pretty good idea of who your product or service appeals to. It's usually the people who have the problem that you solve. Now it's time to get a bit specific, and we'll start with a bit of geography. Where are they located? Where do they live? Where do they work? Where do they hang out after work? Then we move on to demographics. Are they male or female? Are they young or old? Are they rich or poor? What's their level of education? What do they work as? Then we move on to psychographics. What are their values? What are their beliefs? Who are their friends? What are their interests? Who do they look up to? Then we get into a bit of behavioral science. Are they creatures of habit? Do they make impulse purchases? Or do they take their time to research and evaluate and compare before they make a decision to buy something? If you can answer those questions, you're already well on your way to understand your target audience, and that means you can target them more efficiently. Let's talk buyer personas. What is it and how do you create one? You may have had an imaginary friend as a child, and it was easy back then because no one judged you for having conversations with yourself. If you did that today, you would be sectioned. But it's time to bring back that imaginary friend, and I'll tell you why. Now that you've answered all the important questions about your target audience, you can use all that information to put together a nice little Frankenstein's monster. That's called a buyer persona. Now, since your business may target more than one kind of person, or you have more products that appeal to different people, you'll end up with more than one buyer persona, and that's completely fine. The more the merrier. To give you an idea of what a buyer persona looks like, roughly speaking, I'm going to share 2 examples with you of the kind of people that I target with my agency, and then you can use that as a template for creating your own buyer personas. First of all, let's have a look at Steve. Steve is male, he's 35 years old, he's American, he's a small business owner, he has a bachelor's degree in business management, he employs between 2 and 5 people, he doesn't have a lot of marketing knowledge, and sometimes he needs someone to hold his hand, and he speaks in very simple terms, he might be an erratic communicator, and he has a limited budget. Buyer persona 2 is Catherine. She's female, 32 years old, based in Australia, she's a marketing manager for a mid-sized company, she has a bachelor's degree in digital marketing. She manages between 5 to 10 people. She has detailed marketing knowledge and knows exactly what needs to happen. She does tend to speak in corporate jargon, which I find annoying, but she is a reliable communicator and she does have a considerable budget to work with. These are obviously just very rough examples of some buyer personas. You can get as detailed as you want, and you should. The more information you can collect on people, the more detailed a picture you can get, and again, the more precise you can be with your targeting. In conclusion, the more information you have on your target audience, the better. How do you find this information? Well, you could sit back and overanalyze it and overthink it and never get anywhere, or you could just take a shot. Go out there, try to target some people based off of your intuition and see what happens. The more you try, the more you'll learn. What's important is that you should not just make mistakes, you should actually record the outcomes of your marketing efforts so that you can adjust and optimize for the next time. The good news is, as your business grows and as you evolve as a person, so will your understanding of your target audience, and your buyer personas will as a result become much more refined, and your marketing will become much more effective. If you've already identified your target audience, you might want to take a look at my other video, which is about your About page on your website and why it's not about you. Or you can head over to my website where there's a long-form blog post on this specific topic. You can find the link in the description. And while you're here, you can also click the subscribe button. You can share the video on social media. You can spread the good word about words, sounds, and visuals. Until next time, people, cheers.